So I guess this means I'm not Kristen.
I think Elvin's usually on the end.
Yeah, her will.
Alright guys, give you a few seconds here for others to get on. Hey, Hank's on board. I like it when Hank joins the chat. Mr. Noble. Set up, guys. I'm gonna wait about 30 more seconds. Alright guys, good morning. We're at TDECU Stadium. Gotta come up with a nickname for this place. Whoa, man down, man down. Okay, hold up guys, the tripod. Can we call this place the ATM or something? The ATM, we'll call it the ATM. Well, that's Aggies. We can't call it an Aggie name. That's like Texas A&M. Yeah, that's too close. Rusty, why would I block you, man? You're a valuable contributor to the community. So, anyway, guys, this is week 9. Yeah, somebody asked if I think Notre Dame beats Navy. No, I think Navy beats Notre Dame. So, but let's get through everything here. Week 9, in about 4+ hours, maybe 5 hours. Houston will enjoy its first bye week of the season. Wrote earlier this week, it will be the longest they've gone without a bye in a season, or deepest they've gone into a season since 2006. In that year, they actually, I don't know who makes up the schedule, they had a bye on the final weekend of the regular season. So, you know, you play 12 games and then you get a bye. Plus, then you have your break for the bowl game, but I believe Houston was in the Conference USA championship game that year, so that was like basically 2 weeks in between games there. So anyway, guys, let's see, 6-2 Houston, 3-2 in the American versus UCF, 4-3, 2-1 in the American East. So I don't know how many of you saw last night's game. Last night, a little surprised. I mean, I knew that South Florida would give Navy some problems. But to jump out to the kind of lead that they did and then hold on, huge win, and that just kind of shows you where this was going. I think many believe that there was no way Navy was going to run the table in the conference. You don't lose to SMU last week. If Houston doesn't lose to SMU, you're tied. Still don't own the tiebreaker, but then you still have Navy playing, I believe, East Carolina, Tulsa, and one other school. So at least you're still mathematically in it. You're still mathematically in it here, but it's beyond a long shot. So yeah, I totally agree. Yes, Navy did lose last night. I believe it was 52-45 or something like that. Let's catch you guys up on a couple of personnel stuff. 52-48, thank you. Catch you up on some personnel stuff. Offensive line today, that's kind of on the offensive line. Will Noble will be out. He's dealing with that stinger, which you certainly can't take those things lightly. The good news is Coach Herman said that an MRI showed that I guess when you have a neck stinger, it can close or not have the opening that's required, and it creates a problem with the nerves where it's kind of similar to what Colton Freeman had last year, and he ended up having to give up he had to give football up, but in Will's case, it looks like rest is the best medicine. So with the bye week, he takes this week off. I would imagine he'd still be available for that November 12th game. against Tulane. You have Natai Rogers starting right tackle. He'll be out for this game. So, Mr. Noble right there. Spinal stenosis is the just what do they call it? The diagnosis there. So thank you right there, Mr. Noble. You guys heard it right there from someone as close to Will Noble as we possibly can, other than Miss Noble, who we gave a shout out to last week at the game, or a couple weeks ago. They may have been mines. If you look at what they're going to do at right tackle, Braylon Jones. So right now your starting O-line for today is Josh Jones. He's a redshirt freshman at left tackle. Mason Denley is the sophomore. He's at left guard. Center will be Alex Fontana. He's a junior. Mac Long right now is scheduled to play right guard. He's a senior. And then you look at right tackle, it's Braylon Jones. He's a true freshman. So the O-line probably, how should I say it? It's mirrors across the board what's going on with the team in terms of injuries. Matthew Adams has been playing with a banged up shoulder. We'll have to see how much he plays today. Gerard Carter was coming off of an injury. Going down the list here, Brandon Wilson's back now, but I mean, you've had so many injuries. Somebody's asking about De'Aaron King. I would imagine there's nothing wrong with De'Aaron King, so I would imagine they need to get back to their offense where they were using De'Aaron King in a lot of different ways. I think they got away from that for some reason in the last few games. So before each game, we try to talk about a player that we think can make an impact. He'll be my player for today. I think De'Aaron King will get used considerably more today than he had. Let's go through the list here, guys. Rusty, I think Marquez Stevenson plays a lot more than he did last week. I believe he had the one huge 36-yard gain. I asked Coach Herman about that this week, and he acknowledged, it's a matter of, I think it was situations. They had some gadget plays that they wanted to use Marquez last week that just didn't present themselves. So I think you could see Marquez Stevenson play a lot more plays. I mean, he was originally scheduled to play about 10 or 12 last week and didn't get that many. I'm looking to make sure on one stat for you guys. Find it here, because I remember he came out on he was on the kick return team as well on kickoffs and had the one real small return. So Marquez definitely, and as you know, it's kind of been difficult for the team this year to just those backups back there, just hasn't left them room for injuries or poor performance other than Bonner, Allen, and Dunbar. And then when they use King, it's been a huge drop off. Isaiah Johnson is out; he's got a concussion. Then you look at the other ones. Courtney Lark hasn't been a factor. Terry Mark hasn't really been a factor. Go down the list here. Keith Corbin. Those are Rusty's mentioning. What about the knuckleheads? That's Corbin and Courtney Lark. According to Coach Herman, I didn't call him a knucklehead. Rashad Samples is not going to play today, and I don't know what his status is. Again, that story just, how space is at our paper. That story's ready to go. I'm anxious to get it out. I know he wanted to tell his story, and I think it'll be enlightening for those of you who don't necessarily know what he's been through to see what he's going through. So with the bye week, that'll be a really cool story. Not cool story, but it'll be a good informational story for you guys to read. I have a couple of other cool stories regarding Coach Herman that I think you'll find really interesting. So I think what you need, especially today, is you need to have bigger games from your receivers. You need to have a breakout today. Last week was a very uncharacteristic off night for a lot of these guys, and you remember the two fumbles that they had on back-to-back series by receivers after they made the catch. I believe they've gotten first down on both of those plays, and then they fumble the ball. SMU flips the field and scores on the plays. So Turnovers, that's going to be a huge key. They got to get the turnovers down. UCF has a true freshman quarterback, Mackenzie Milton, so that they get pressure on him. I thought that the defensive line last week, for one of the few times this year, didn't get any pressure, consistent pressure. And as you noticed, they were using Ed Oliver. They had used him standing up over center a couple times this year, but they had never really moved him around. And Ed Oliver was coming around the edge as a rusher, so it'll be interesting to see how they use him today and come after the freshman from UCF. No updates on Bowser. That'll be something that we'll be able to get a little bit more clarity on in the bye week. So I imagine we could ask Coach Herman after this game, probably on the Monday conference call. They will have practice availability for us on Wednesday. So no later than Wednesday, I should have an idea whether they bring Bowser back for Tulane or if he basically needs that extra time. So that would be an extra 2 weeks, and you'd have him available for Louisville. But looking at the schedule, if he had the surgery, 1, 2, 3. So he'll be looking at about little over 5 weeks since the surgery, if they keep him out till Louisville. So thanks for the reminder there. We'll get that for you. Rusty, I did ask about using Ed Oliver and kind of like a jumbo package near the goal line. That's something he did in high school, and I asked Coach Herman. It was probably late camp, maybe that OU week. Said they really weren't there yet. Felt that if they couldn't get a yard with a Duke Catalan or a Mobacar, then things were going to be tough. And as you saw last week, they were at the 2-yard, ran 2 plays up the middle, weren't able to get the first down, ended up missing the field goal. So right now I would say that don't expect Ed Oliver to be in any kind of those goal line situations, but somewhere down the line, I don't think Tom Herman has ruled that out. Guys, you guys always know I'm up front with you. I don't like to be wrong on stories. I double check them, but I want to clear something up. We talked on the chat on Monday, and I said that people that I was talking to had said that there was a divide in the locker room because of the incident with the 2 linebackers before the UConn game. I've since I never reported that in the paper. That was just my observation or opinion. Talked to Coach Herman and one other staffer earlier in the week. They assured me that there is no divide between the team off of that incident. So my apologies. I retract my comments. And as you guys know, I'm stand-up, so I like to make sure that I'm right. Try not to report anything that's false or inaccurate. The explanation I was given was, these 2 guys are very different personalities. I don't think they were, and I wasn't told this part, but I don't think they were like great friends before it. And Coach Herman assures me that there's not a rift or a divide or 2 sides on everything, but just wanted to clear that up. My reputation and my credibility means a lot to me, and seems like I got that one wrong. The people that I talked to gave me bad information, or at least not as clear information. I still think there's something distracting them. I don't want to jump into the Coach Herman job rumors, but at the same time, I think what the distraction is, it's just injuries. They're banged up so bad. This is really not the same team that you saw really going back to UConn, and it makes sense with the injuries and stuff like that. So again, my apologies for steering you guys in the wrong direction, and I'll just do better now. I'll just try even harder to make sure I don't make a mistake like that again. So anyway, if you guys don't have any other questions, if you have a few, I can stay on for a few more minutes. If not, basketball's coming up. I'll be at practices sometime this week. We'll have our preview stuff coming out I believe November 7th. So Kelvin Sampson begins year 3 here, so it should be interesting. I believe the first the exhibition is against Pembroke, and then they open up at home against Morehead State. I cover the University of Houston for the guy who just asked, TXSVT. So anyway, guys, you know what? That's a good question, and I should have had the UCF beat writer on for you, because I don't know as much about their front as I should. But let's look it up here. Let's find some stuff out for you guys before I leave. Okay, guys, let's see here. Let me get you something here. Kind of give you an idea up front what they're. I don't like these stats. Okay, guys. Let's see here. Rucker. Okay, their leading tackler is Mark Rucker. He's an inside linebacker. 6 tackles for loss, 2 sacks. Their big sack guy is Griffin. Shaquille Griffin. Shaquem Griffin. He's an outside linebacker, 6 sacks, 9 tackles for loss. Then you look, trying to find out their guys. Here you have Pittman. Their front, okay, here we go. Jamias Pittman. He's the nose guard. He's got 3.5 tackles for loss and 2 sacks, so he's certainly one. And another big one is Tony Garrard. He's the defensive end. 5.5 sacks, 5.5 tackles for loss and 3.5 sacks. So you look at size, about 295, and 275. So average about 6'1", 6'2" on the line, and about in between 275 and 295. Now the defensive end Hill is a freshman, the nose guard Pittman is a junior, and the other defensive end is a redshirt junior. So they've got one underclassman there on the line. So it'll be a big challenge, I think, today. Just looking at what they have here. Let's see, it's Griffin. I'm not familiar with their story. If you, I can look it up and we can talk more about it after the game. But for now, no, I don't. So, anyway, guys, I'm sorry we're gonna have to make this quick. I'm gonna give you one more view of a pregame here. We're about 58 minutes until kickoff. All right, you guys enjoy the game, and we'll be back on later.